Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really important topic, especially if you're preparing for exams, the international role of India's securities market regulator, SEBI. We're going to look at how its work on the global stage is absolutely vital for protecting our own markets back home. Okay, so let's get right into it. You might be wondering, why does an Indian regulator even need a global presence? Well, in today's world, money zips across borders in the blink of an eye. Capital flows are global, and that means risks are global too. A regulator just can't afford to operate in its own little bubble. It's all about cooperation, making sure our rules have teeth abroad, and, shaping the global conversation to benefit India.
So here's how we'll break it all down. We're going to cover 5 key areas. First, the big global bodies SEBI works with. Then the legal nuts and bolts of how they cooperate. We'll look at the data to see it in action, check out the world's report card on India, and then wrap it all up with a super focused summary for your exam revision.
First up, let's talk about how SEBI actually helps write the global rulebook for securities markets. And this is key. It's not just about following rules made by others. It's about making sure India has a seat at the table when those rules are being written. The biggest name you need to know here is IOSCO. Just think of it as the United Nations for market regulators. It covers over 95% of the world's securities markets. And here's the thing, SEBI isn't just some passive member. It's a board member, which means it has a real voice in shaping global policy. That's a pretty big deal.
So, what are the hot topics they're all talking about right now? Well, for your exams, here's a little trick to remember them. Just think of the acronym STARS. S is for sustainable finance. T is for all the technology they're using, like SupTech and RegTech. A is for the big one, generative AI. And R is for tackling the risks from online harms and scams. STARS. It's a simple way to lock in those key priorities.
Now, alongside IOSCO, SEBI is also one of only 3 members representing the whole of India on the Financial Stability Board, or FSB. This group is all about the big picture, preventing the next global financial crisis. They look at major risks across the whole system, especially from what they call non-bank financial intermediation, or NBFI.
Okay, so having a seat at the table is great, but how does that actually turn into action? Let's get into the legal frameworks that let SEBI work with other countries to chase down bad actors who try to hide across borders.
The absolute cornerstone here is the MOU, the Multilateral Memorandum of Understanding. Think of this as the legal master key that lets regulators share confidential information with each other for investigations. So if some scammer is operating from another country but targeting Indian investors, the MOU is the tool SEBI uses to get the authorities in that country to help out. It's crucial.
And it doesn't stop there. On top of that big global agreement, SEBI has also signed 32 direct one-on-one agreements, or bilateral MOUs, with specific countries. This creates a really powerful and tight-knit network for cracking down on international fraud.
So what does all this cooperation actually look like on the ground? Well, the data tells a really interesting story, one that shows India's growing importance in the regulatory world.
And this chart just says it all, doesn't it? Just look at these numbers. In the last year, SEBI got 111 requests for help from other countries, but in contrast, it only made 37 requests. What does that tell you? It means India is now a net provider of regulatory intelligence. We've become a key knowledge partner on the world stage.
And people are taking notice. This expertise is really sought after. You've got delegations from countries like Nepal, Ghana, and Indonesia literally coming to India to learn from SEBI, especially about our top-notch market infrastructure and our supervisory tech. It really shows that India isn't just playing the game anymore. We're helping to lead it. And India is actively putting its successes on display. A perfect example of this is the Smart 2025 Symposium. This was a huge event designed to show off our world-class technology stack. All the amazing RegTech and SupTech tools that make our markets so efficient and safe. So, with all this going on, what's the verdict from the rest of the world? How do they rate India's financial sector and our regulations? Well, that's where something called the FSAP comes in. The FSASP, or Financial Sector Assessment Program, is basically a deep dive health check of our entire financial system. And it's not done by just anyone. It's a joint review by 2 of the heaviest hitters in global finance, the IMF and the World Bank. So yeah, it's a very rigorous and independent report card. And guess what? The latest assessment gave India some really high marks. It pointed out major improvements and even highlighted some specific innovative things we've done. For instance, the CDMDF, which is a safety net for the corporate debt market, and the introduction of swing pricing, a clever way to protect investors in mutual funds when markets get rocky.
All right, let's bring it all home. It's time to boil this all down into the most critical points for your exam prep. So pay close attention to these next few slides. This is the stuff you absolutely, positively need to know. First, the global bodies. Remember, SEBI isn't just a member. It has key leadership roles. For IOSCO, the key word is board member. For the FSB, remember it's one of only 3 members from all of India. These are positions of real influence.
Next up, cooperation and data points. The MOU is the main global tool. SEBI has 32 extra bilateral deals, and that key number to remember is 111, the number of requests SEBI received, proving that India is a net provider of regulatory help. And finally, make sure you are crystal clear on these key terms and initiatives. They are perfect material for questions. FSAPE is the IMF/World Bank review, CDMDF is that debt market fund, swing pricing is the mutual fund protection tool, and Smart 2025 is the big tech showcase. Got it? Good.
So that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. As our markets become more and more interconnected, more borderless, you have to wonder, is the real strength of a regulator no longer just its rules at home, but actually the power and reach of its global alliances?
And that's a wrap on our explainer on SEBI's global footprint. We really hope this structured breakdown helps you with your preparation. For more deep dives into topics that are essential for your exams, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.